Hello everybody and welcome to the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge here live from the RdBull ring. I say live, it's not live of course, it is recorded a couple of, or a week or so after the event. We've got about 35 drivers on the grid again for another exciting round of our season of course. We've gone through quite a few of the opening rounds now, of course, an opening 3-week run, or 2-week run I should say, over in the United States, followed by Suzuka and then Spa. Now we arrive here at the RdBull ring for another hour-long race. Of course, a couple more to come after this until the holiday break before we get back into another 7 rounds to complete our 14-race calendar here in the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge. It's myself, Ewan, and James Parfitt with you again for this round of the championship. It's at the RdBull ring this time round. James, I'm looking forward to this. The second, I should say, European round of our season, second in a row, and a good track, I think, for endurance racing, although it isn't used very often.
No, it's not used very often because of the way the nature of the circuit. It's only 10 corners, if that, and that depends on which track map you read, to be blatantly honest with you. But I think this is going to be very, very interesting. It's going to be off tracks aplenty. I think that's one of the things they've got to be careful for here as well at the RdBull ring. It's a very touchy off-track circuit, so they want to make sure that they can survive the hour without causing themselves much drama when it comes to off-tracks, because I can tell you what, this track ain't nice when it comes to off-tracks. So I think that's going to be how the hour will be here, and it's going to be very, very interesting indeed.
Only the second time we've used the RdBull ring in the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge, by the way, and so it is not a circuit that everyone's going to be particularly familiar with, which is going to make things pretty difficult over the course of the day, but we'll see how we get on, of course, once again. Qualifying has just come to a close, and so we'll go through the grid in a couple of moments' time, but of course we do have that very long session in the meantime for the gridding. It's not a session, of course, it is just 5 minutes between the qualifying and the race, just so that everybody can get themselves ready, maybe take a minute or so away from the rigs. In the meantime, as always, we'll go through the standings coming into this round. Pat Pelchat is leading in the GTPs and indeed overall by 24 points over Adolfo Perez. It is Nathan Dowd who is third, ahead of Dominic Durnenberg and then Billy Smith. Paul Darling is sixth, ahead of Ryan Wasilewski, who's only been at a couple of rounds. Maximilian Muir has only been at 1 round, although he did win it. He's in 8th, ahead of Trevor Pavorsky, Vance and Paul Gibson, all of whom have also only been at 1 round. Robert Cast is leading in LMP2 ahead of Carter Kundinger. It was, for the first time, not a win for Robert Cast at Spa. 19 points is his gap now, though. Robert Tinsey's third, ahead of Caden Richardson and Mo Islam, who drove through the field at Spa. It was Andrew Parker in 6th going into this one, ahead of Brandon Walker. Kevin Binkley and Leif Peterson are 8th and 9th. Fuzzy Fuzzillo, Christian Julian and Brian Corwin have only been at 1 round each. In the GT3 GTD AMS, I should get the terminology right, 15 points between Joshua Wolf and Ed Eisenring at the moment. Parker Dime is tied with Eisenring as well for second. Mugo de Souza is tied in, not tied in 4th place, sorry, he is in 4th place on his own, actually, ahead of Morgan Smith. Austin Diltz, a further 10 points further behind, in 6th, ahead of Dale Green, with Chris Sherburn in 8th place, then Mark Kudrowski and Shane Hunter rounding out the top 10. Tom Hammond is 11th, then ahead of Colby Kersey, with Paul Lindsay, Sean Rees and Adam Satterfield rounding out the top 15. Carson Quinton, Sheldon Rosenbaum are tied in 16th place on 21 points each. In the GTDs without the AMS, it is Ross Boove leading the way ahead of Nicholas Davis. That gap 23 points as Boove has been dominating so far. Young Park is in 3rd ahead of Ryan Robertson and Michael Ross. Bradley Haley just a couple of points further behind. Christopher Pies 7th ahead of Alex Simonich, with Paul Schmudlerback in 9th. Then Dominic Zioli and Patrick Fogel having only been at 1 round each. They are 10th and 11th. So that's how we stand in the championship standings. I've got to say that all 4 championship leaders have really taken a bit of a march over the rest. Pelchat in GTP, Cast in LMP2, Boove in GTD, maybe with the exception of GTD AM, which I've really been enjoying so far this season because partly it's been so close.
Yeah, it has. Josh Wolfer's not got very far ahead of Parker Dime, and Parker's obviously tied with Ed Eisenring, so there's still 3 people fighting it out there. And I think that could be the standout class that we pay most attention to. As you say, the likes of Ross Booth, the likes of Robert Cass, the likes of Pat Pelchet, all opening up gaps. But I think going in now, we've not got long left, obviously, before we go over to the 2nd of December, which is at Mid-Ohio. That's going to be a very interesting one with Magello after, and then of course we break up for Christmas for Road America coming back on the 6th. But I think we'll get a better idea after Mid-Ohio just where everybody's going to be. I think that, you know, we've got to give it at least half the season before we start making assumptions. But it is looking like certain people at the top, as you say, apart from GTD Am, which today is going to be a big deal for the GTDs. They are going to have, well, they're going to need to be an owl, to be basically honest with you, and have their head on a swivel, because it ain't going to be long before the GTPs come through, and it's not going to be long before the LMP2s come through.
Always so exciting to watch when the traffic really starts to play a role in these races, as all the drivers now getting themselves onto the gridding procedure. Let's have a look at the starting grid ahead of this race. Pat Pelchat and Billy Smith will be sharing the front row ahead of Nathan Dowd and Adolfo Perez. Dominic Durnenberg and Trevor Vavarski round out the 6 of those GTDs who qualified, GTPs I should say. We'll see whether Paul Darling gets onto the grid or not. He didn't qualify though. Robert Cast and Carter Cunningham will be on the front for the LMP2s at Mo Islam and Caden Richardson. It is Kevin Binkley and Robert Tinsey who are on row 6 overall there, with Andrew Parker, Fozzie Falillo next, Christian Julian rounding out the 9-car LMP2 field. Ross Poog is at the front of GTDs again, ahead of Michael Ross and Ryan Robertson, Nicholas Davis, Alex Simonik, Young Park and Bradley Haley rounding out the top 7 there, with Ed Eisenring next. So the GTD and GTD AMs are split apart quite nicely. Miguel de Souza is alongside Eisenring on the front, with Sheldon Rosenbaum and Parker Dime next. The top championship contenders all up towards the top, with Joshua Wolf 5th and Chris Sherburn 6th. It is Shane Hunter and Dale Green who are next, with Paul Lindsay and Morgan Smith on the penultimate row. Austin Diltz and Carson Quint qualified last, although Quint didn't get a representative lap time in. And as I said, Paul Darling is at the back because he didn't set a time in qualifying. So far he's not on the grid either, but he's got just over a minute to get on there, so he might well be okay. As you say, we've got a long way to go in this season, and we probably shouldn't make any big assumptions before the Christmas break. But there are still 2 drop rounds to be applied as well, and I guess that folds into the point that you were mentioning as well about not judging this season too early. But even if you do apply the drop weeks, in 3 of the classes there is some dominant drivers starting to show themselves. I wonder whether any of those 3 dominant drivers in the top 3 classes, Pelchat, Cast or Booth, are going to be uprooted slightly tonight, or whether it is going to be more of the same in the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge, and whether they're going to be able to take another win each. We'll find out, of course, over the next hour. Yeah,
I think a lot of it for Pat Pelchat would depend on what Billy Smith can do. Billy's got to try and get over him at the beginning, and unfortunately that is not the most easiest thing to do for Billy Smith. He needs to get... He's not going to make the jump, because Pat's been... well, Pat all season on the jumps at the start, but I think for Billy, he can't let him go longer than a couple of laps, and he's got to try and stay with him as soon as they get onto the back of the GTD AM field, because he's going to need to use that AM field to the best of his advantage to put Pat under pressure. If he doesn't put Pat under pressure, by the time they go into GTDs, Pat's going to run through all on his own. It's going to be like Christmas for him. He can just go through, happy days, I'm on my bike, see you later, son. He needs in the pressure from Billy. It's a big day for Billy Smith at this moment in time. Whether or not he can do it, well, we're going to find out.
Certainly are. We're looking forward to another hour of racing in the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge. 14 hours generally overall, taking us right the way to the start of April, when we end the season at Road Atlanta. We've got a very long way to go until then. Track conditions, by the way, tonight, 18th of November in Sim. That is the date of the race. But it's 5:30 in the evening already, and as if any of you watching this from Europe, you'll know, it tends to get dark by about 4, so we'll see how dark it is by the end of this race. Could be very, very gloomy indeed. Out of the final corner now for Pat Pelchat, who's now in control of the field. The 6-car GTP field getting themselves up towards the line first, and Pelchat doesn't wait very long. He takes the green flag, and he takes a couple of car lengths indeed as well as they begin the race. Down in towards turn number 1 for the first time. Smith and Dowd go side by side, 4 seconds, and it's very close between them. It's going to be a turn for Perez with the run on both of them now, as Smith gets a run on the outside line. Dowd's going backwards. Here comes Perez on the way towards turn 3. He's got up the outside line, going to be shown the outside by the Cadillac as Dowd goes on the defensive. Perez plates late nevertheless, and he goes round the outside here through turn 3. Who can get the traction? They're still absolutely locked together here on the way down towards turn 4.
Yeah, they are at the moment as well. You can see Ross Booth has got the jump in the GTDs as well. He has done a great job there with Michael Ross, Nicholas Davis, Ryan Robinson all in behind. Ed Eisenring still leading the GTD AMs, still doing a great job as well out in front currently at the moment. But as I said at the beginning, you give the man an inch, he's going to take you for a mile. And guess what? Pat Pelchat has just taken them for a mile, and Sheldon Rosenberg has just gone through, gone round unfortunately as well, coming out of Remus, and I can guarantee what's going to happen with that. We'll have a look back at that a little bit later on. But action all the way through. GTPs as they are: Pelchat, Smith, Dowd, Perez, Dorenberg and Borowski. The only changes so far is Caden Richards jumps Mo Islam, and Robert Tinsey has also jumped Kevin Binkley. So that's the action so far, but still long way to go. We've still got 58 minutes on the clock.
In case you've not seen these post-race broadcasts before, we'll obviously do replays during them, so we will do them at the end. Big spin, and we'll have a replay of that, I'm sure, as well, because that's Borowski going a little bit wide through turn 1. We don't want to be getting onto that Sussex curve on the outside of the Nicky Lauda curve there. Otherwise, you will do exactly that. Borowski spins and actually will have to pass the LMP2s for overall position now. Yeah,
unfortunately, that is one of the things with the sausage curve on the outside of that Nicky Lauda curve. You cannot touch it. You've got to either take it all or leave it alone. Carter still chasing Robert Castown in the LMP2s. He's looking to dive up the inside at the moment. That's going to be a very, very difficult move. Is he going to be able to hang it on the inside? He's going to be on the outside going into Roush at the moment. For Carter in that O2 machine. He's got to run it long. He's not going to be able to get there. I think Cassidy's going to possibly open it up on him, gives him space. He then takes the racing line away, and Cass just continues as he is in the lead at this moment in time in LMP2s. Great action from them. We've got Nick Davis having to go down here as well, and still action all the way further down in the GTDs. This is the battle for 4th and 3rd on the road in the GTD Pros, with Robinson tucked in right behind them as well. Mustang and Porsche dominating GTDs once more. A lot.
Are the same.
Yeah.
Livery wise. Look at that. The black and lime, is it?
Yeah, no, it's not yellow. I'd go, yeah, like a limey green, isn't it? Yeah, that'll do. Green off yellow. There we go. That's fine. I tell you what, one thing as well is this man here, just really quickly, Ed Eisenring, he has done a stunning job opening up time on Parker Dime. He's given him 2.3 seconds at the moment. Josh Wolf's still in there as well in that McLaren, but Wolf's got a little bit of a mission on his hands at the moment, because he is currently nearly 3.8 seconds away from Ed Eisenring. So a lot for these guys to contend with here as well, for the likes of the GTDs, and as we see at the moment, the GTPs are only half a track away.
Parker Dime's got a bit of damage on the front left, by the way. Don't know where he's picked that up, but that might be aiding the escape of Ed Eisenring and Miguel de Souza. Look at that in the front left of the car. You can see the wheel a bit more than you're supposed to there in the Mustang. So I'm not sure how much that's holding him back, to be honest, or whether that's just a coincidence that he has also got some damage. But it's certainly been a rough start. I wonder whether Dime made contact with Rosenbaum. Was Sheldon Rosenbaum anywhere near Parker Dime on the start? I don't know. As I mentioned earlier, we will watch the replays at the end of the day to really unpick what's gone on there, but just putting 2 and 2 together, and Sheldon Rosenbaum is out the race, by the way, now officially. Wonder whether maybe those two made contact on that one.
Yeah, it's a possibility, I think, as well, because Rosenberg's down 9 places from where he was in 34th. That would put him in 26th. That's not too far away from Parker Diamond, right round the right point, to be blatantly honest. But Cunningham's now trying to have a go over Cass as they're on their run down into Schlossgold, the right-hander. Downhill braking, of course. You got to look for the dip on the inside. The problem is for Carter Cunningham, he needs to be a little bit careful. He's now got to decide how he's going to play this. I think this is going to be one of the things from Carter now, is we're going to really see what Carter can do in this car, because he's got Cass in front. He knows he needs to beat Cass for the championship. Cass is the man on form, that's the problem, and at the moment Carter can't quite get near him enough to be able to make that move. Oh, De Sousa's, yeah.
And that's exactly, I'd imagine, what Bobrovsky did.
Yeah,
I'd imagine, and he's actually hit the wall, which is the difference here for De Sousa. He's gone in the wall nose first there, and he's got front left damage and rear left damage. He's really slapped the wall with the left-hand side of the car. Meanwhile, Dowd versus Smith for second place in GTP, right behind these guys. And there you go, what a great run from Dowd. I didn't think he was anywhere near making a move there on Billy Smith, but he certainly was. He makes his way through, and Nathan Dowd is now second, going into the traffic. Here we go.
Yeah, on board with Pat Pelchat now. We're going to see how he's going to handle this. He's got to take the tighter line. He needs to get the run. He's coming across. He's got to go the other way. This is where... This is like heart in the mouth stuff for us up here in the booth, watching these drivers go through, because this is going to be an absolute mission at this moment in time. They are so close together further up. He's got to... It's almost like sitting in the motorway and it goes 2 lanes into one. You're picking your spot where you can get in beforehand. The only good thing for Pelchat is he's opened up 3.5 seconds, so he can be a little bit more picky about when he goes. You know, don't chance it. Look for the gap between the blue and the next car forward, which he is doing. Slot in behind him. There you go. Now wait. Go through. Now he should be able to get the next 4. They're all going to come left. So at the moment he's got to now decide. There you go. He goes left out the way as well. Is he going to move? He is. He's got the next 4. On we go into the GTD Pros now. This is a big moment for Pelchat. But he's got the time to be picky. He's got the time to be careful. But one man who hasn't got the time to be careful is Billy Smith. Oh!
No! Oh, it's all gone wrong down here. Perez and Smith are both damaged and have crashed into each other, and some
Paul
of the
Lindsay.
GT3s as well. Spun around there is Paul Lindsay in the Porsche 911. He's going to have to wait for the entire LMP2 field now, who are going to be in amongst the traffic too. No rear wing for Perez, I think, in the foreground I just saw. I think he's got no rear wing, and that's going to be a real disaster for him. He's going to have to come into the pit lane a lot earlier. Oh, there he is.
He's got nothing.
Yeah, he's got suspension damage as well. He's turning left while going right here. That's never a good sign. And, Adolfo Perez, second in the championship, I think, coming into today. Careful. Bobrovsky there has to go around the outside of him. It's going to be a precarious trip back to pit lane now for Adolfo Perez.
Absolutely, you can see everybody giving him a wide line there. Lucky enough for Perez, he's only got 2 cars behind him other than that as well. But yeah, it's going to be a very, very dodgy moment for Adolfo Perez. He's going to have to make his way through. The problem is now with the LMP2s is still Cast and Cunningham. They're coming through the GTDs as well now. Cast is 4th overall. You can see on the left-hand side, the mix-up for Oski still out of position as well. So big moves and shakers here, but this is where the pressure now lies on Cunningham. He knows Cass is going to want to go, and he knows Cass wants to go early, and he wants to clear him as soon as possible. Cunningham can't allow too many GTD hands in between them. It gives them that mentality to basically sit there and he's got to go, and then he ends up diving and making silly mistakes. This traffic is a big moment, bigger here at the Red Bull Ring than anywhere else.
Bobrovsky goes past Richardson and Islam, who are going side by side, by the way, for 3rd place as well here. Just in the background, it's late on the break from Richardson round the outside, and Islam's still there though, alongside him. They're going to have to squeeze here. They're going to have to back off. Oh, goodness. Breathe in, everybody, as they go into the middle sector. They're still side by side. That's unbelievable. I can't believe they've managed to sort that out, and Islam slaps in front of Richardson, says this place is mine, and he takes 3rd in LMP2. That was a hold your breath moment for absolutely everybody, especially Parker Dime, actually, who's 2nd in GTD. And of course, he saw his life flash before his eyes there as they went past him. Thankfully, we avoid incident on and they all get through nicely. A great battle for third continues and through the traffic for the first time in LMP2.
Oh, Richardson's just lost his nose. He's gone. He literally, it's a nose job for Caden Richardson. But now we've got the LMP2s. This is on board with Cunningham. In front of us is Cass. This is going to be giving these guys a little bit of a break between before they get to the GTD Bros. They are literally nose to tail. That's Vorosky in front. He's got to wait. There's no doubt about it now for Vorosky. He's got to play this right because he can get these cars, but he's got to wait and try and get the power down at this moment in time. You can see Cunningham's moved over. Now he needs to go past Cass as well before we get into Slush Gold, and he didn't have the power to do it.
You've got to remember the GTP is not as much faster than the LMP2s as the LMP1s were back in the day. You've got to remember that, especially in the corners. Look at these lighter LMP2s through the corners, by the way. In the straights, of course, the Cadillac especially has an advantage with the humongous engine, about 20 litres. But it's very big. And he's able to power past on the straights. But look at that.
He cleared him.
Now gets down the inside. Oh, it's a bit wide, but follows through. And Cunningham follows through as well. So the 2 leaders in LMP2 stay together.
Yeah, I'll tell you what though, and Cunningham, it's got to make a decision now because Cass has just jumped in with a car. Cunningham's leaving it very late indeed. He knows he's got to go with him. The pressure in second right about now is massive because you don't want to give the car in front too many cars to go through. Cunningham is the one feeling the pressure. Cass is just driving right now. He just knows he can pick the traffic up, he can take his line, he can get past. The pressure at the moment is all on Cunningham to try and follow him through. Cass could play this. He could play Cunningham like a game of chess at this moment in time here and not make a move or make a late one or really stitch Cunningham up here like he has just done with that Porsche, because now Cunningham's got to now fight again to get past the Mustang, and Cass has already cleared him. Guess what? Cunningham hasn't. So this is the moment for Cass now. This is the moment he can use as much of this now, try and get away, because he's now almost 1 car ahead of, you know, Cunningham behind him. So he's picked them up in the right place. It's now on Cunningham to do the same thing.
Oh, he's going to make a late move here. Is Cunningham using the late braking and the downforce of the LMP2 to stay with him? It was an important pass for the reasons you just said there. It was really important to try and stay with him and keep there no traffic between the two of them. He's still just about clinging on to the coattails of Slipstream here for Cass, who just has a small blink. Hopefully that's the last of that. Now 6/10 of a second. He's still in the slipstream, which is important around this circuit. He's survived the GT freeze for the first time.
Yeah, he has at the moment. I want to jump down here to Michael Ross, because that is Ross Booth, not too far ahead. I'm interested to see how the Mustangs get on here. I really am, because I think the Mustangs could be in a position that they've got the power. You know, they haven't got loads of turns. Do you know what I mean? You're like, we're not going to take a Mustang GT3 to Monaco, right? Let's be real about it. It will struggle its head off. It can't cope with the directional changes, right? Where this he can. He's got the straightaways to use the power. He's got not a lot of turns to go through. This could be a big day for the guys in the Mustangs. The likes of Simonich, the likes of Haley, the likes of Dime, the likes of Hunter. They could be on for a big point stay here, because this is probably one of the few tracks that suit this car.
Michael Dime and Joshua Wolf, meanwhile, going side by side for second in GTD Am, and they're being passed by LMP2s on at the same time here. On the outside for Dime, he's not going to be able to get that done. And Joshua Wolf moves up to second place in GTD Am. What a great start from him. Of course, it's 3, I think,
steady.
from where he started. I think he was 5th on the grid, and up to second in the matter of 15 minutes here.
Yeah, he is. He's up 3 places. The problem is that there's like an 8-second gap, I think, up the road to Eisenring here. He's just driving around quite happily on his jacks here currently. He's just tootling about onto the back of almost touching the GTD Pros there. With, I think it's Haley's in front, if I'm not mistaken, up the road, Bradley Haley. So there is Ed Eisenring in behind him. So still action down in the GTP and the GTDs as well. Simonich and Ross, Booth are all close together. You can see there's Booth and there's Michael Ross tucked in behind him. This
is still close for the lead in GTD. He's slightly rumours are that it's closer for the lead in this class than it is in GT Am. Normally it's been the other way around this season, but Ed Eisenring has made a very good start indeed in that GTD Am class. But we've seen that before from him and it not turn out well at the end. So we've got to see through this last 3/4 of an hour just yet. Still 45 minutes to go at the Red Bull Ring, although a quarter of the race complete. The GTPs are back in the traffic again. Meanwhile, at the back of the GT3s, it is Pat Pelchat still leading the way by 5.4 seconds as things stand.
He did what he needed to do, right? This is what we said for Pat Pelchat. He needed to get away at the start, and he did do that. And he has done that, and that's the thing for Pelchat. So, at the moment, he's done a great job. He's got out in front. He's opened up 5.5 seconds. He can just drive now. And I don't just mean drive as in try and open the gap. He's using the traffic, he's catching the traffic, he's clearing the traffic easy enough. So for him, this is a great job overall at the moment for Pat Pelchat, just running away from it. But the main battle is going to be down in the GTD Pros with Booth, Ross and Simonic at this moment in time.
This is the closest battle on the circuit. We'll keep an eye on these guys. By the way, further down, we've got some retirements, I'm afraid, in GTP. Billy Smith is out of the race. Adolfo Perez still repairing his car as things stand. Hopefully he does re-emerge. Paul Lindsay, though, in GTD Am becomes the second retirement in that class. So after the incident down at turn number 3, we have had a couple of retirements, although Perez has just repaired his car. He's back circling again for points from 5th place, and he does need them. Second in the championship, of course, behind Pat Pelchat in GTP. So important for him to get back out there, and he does. This is the battle, though, in GTD. Booth just getting that 9/10 of a second now for the first time. Still some prototypes behind them here. It's going to be pretty much constant, this traffic. Can Ross Booth use it to his advantage to finally break the slipstream and get a second in the lead? Well, he is now a second ahead officially.
Yeah, he is at the moment. Do you know the interesting thing? I've only just noticed on the Mustangs, I don't know if it's just the Mustangs, I haven't really paid attention before, but the lights are red. But then when they brake, they go yellow. Now normally, don't they go yellow and then red?
You mean the brake lights?
Yeah.
Noticed.
Yeah, it's really weird. I've only just noticed it, which, considering, you know, we commentate for absolutely ages, but if you watch the brake lights, they're red at the moment, and then they go yellow when they're braking, which is a new one for me. I'm sorry, I know this might sound a really pointless point at this moment in time, but look.
I think that's normal.
Is it?
I think so, yeah.
My brake lights don't go yellow on my car.
Doesn't look any... Well, no, I'm not saying it's normal for cars, I'm saying it's normal for this Mustang.
Oh.
But I think you'd probably get pulled over for that in real life.
Yeah, is it the same as the... No, the Porsche just go... Does the Porsche just go redder? I just find that very amusing.
Okay.
Yeah, moving on. Sorry, I don't know why I'm so fascinated by that, to be blatantly honest, but I was just like, it kind of goes yellow. I've never noticed that.
Though, these days in racing, I do think you can change certain aspects of certainly the endurance lighting you can change around with these days, which looks very cool in the dark. We'll see if it gets dark enough for that today. But I think you can change these things in racing these days. You've got a bit more customization, if that's the right word for it, than certainly than you used to have, of course. Back in the day in iRacing, there didn't even used to be a day-night cycle, so there wasn't really any point in changing your headlights or whatever. Most of the races happened in the daytime, but those days are gone, and thank goodness for that. Through go some more prototypes in the GTPs and LMP2s, and past these GT3s they go. Very spread out in GTP at the moment. I would imagine we're going to see very much more of them, but there's Nathan Down, just running his own race at the moment, losing time to Pat Pelchat as is everybody at the moment.
Yeah, Pelchat's just absolutely flying, isn't he? I think that's the thing for him at this moment in time. He's off. He's practically got a Sunday drive with his favourite grandma sitting in the seat. You know what I mean? He's away he goes, but it's still very interesting. We've got the Cass Cullingers still very close together, literally that close, still fighting out. We've still got the Ross and Simonic battle, and we've got Parker Dime and Hunter further down. There is Parker Dime, there is Shane Hunter in behind him as well, both of them in Mustangs, of course. But stops coming as well. I think, could this be an interesting scenario?
Yeah, I don't know where to what to call here for this LMP2 leading battle just for the moment. How long are they going to leave it until they stop as well? Normally, especially in LMP2, normally I'd advise actually pitting before the second round of traffic, so you don't have to do it twice. But because this circuit's a bit shorter, you're catching them a bit quicker, certainly than you did at Spa. So you can't really pit in now. I think there's too long to go, isn't there?
Yeah,
in the race. I don't think you can go to the end from here. So they're going to have to overtake these GTDs twice, or more than they would normally expect to, which is a bit awkward for these LMP2s. There's an extra run through traffic effectively for them, so we will see how it affects these two as we follow this leading battle in LMP2 again. How can Robert Cast and where can Robert Cast put a car between himself and Carter Cunningham here? And he already has there into the final corner.
Yeah, Carsten Quint's at the moment as well. Looks like Andrew Parker's been off track as well. Carsten's jumped straight to pit lane, so we'll have a look back at that one a little bit later on. Cunningham still trying to stay with Cast as much as possible. I can tell you now, Davis is in behind Simonic at this moment in time in the GTDs. The GTDs kind of giving us all the action at the moment. So we can see Smith is out in the GTPs as well. Oh, that Mustang! Oh, he's going! Oh. Is he going? Is he going?
That was a big flight. Goodness me. Simonic there has got no choice almost but to give the position over to Nicholas Davies, but my goodness me, that was a big slide, and he'll just be pleased to be still in the race, to be honest. He's going really close now as well on the way towards the right-hander. Penultimate corner on this circuit, right in front of them, and he's back through again. Well done. That is a big move for him there, from very nearly losing the car entirely, and he's back to where he started the lap.
Yeah, absolutely stellar job there for Simonic. Got the moment and then got it back as well. Well, we've got Mo Islam having a go in the GT LMP2s here. He has got Caden Richardson tucked in. They were side by side, but great move from Simonic down in the GTDs as well. So fair play to them guys for continuing on there. As I say, that could have been a big moment for that Mustang.
Certainly got it. Very nearly was indeed. Good pass there for Islam to make in towards turn one.
Do you know what? I'm just going to pick up on something here. I'm hoping Caden Richardson's light flashing is due to the fact that he's just letting them know they're there. Right, because that was extensive flashing going down into turn one. Where is he on the racetrack? I want to see what he does in going into the next set of GTDs, because one of my bugbears, I think flashing them once to tell them you're there is great, right? And I understand that, but flashing them multiple times, expecting them to jump out the way is another thing, isn't it? Really.
I personally don't mind it very much actually. But
yeah, but once it's fine. Do you not think extensive is a little bit over the top?
Well, it depends what your definition of extensive is, because I think once is probably not enough. There you go, there's another look down the inside. And
is it just a I'm coming through, do you think?
Well, it depends really which. I don't have any problem with an I'm coming through kind of flash here, and there'll be another one here, I'd imagine. There you go. To be honest, I don't really. When I was driving, of course, I would do it as well. But actually, sitting here watching, does it really make the blindest bit of difference? I'm not.
It depends on the driver, isn't it? Let's be real.
Feel better than okay. There'll be another. There might be another one here. And there's another one from Islam. It's very common to do. I personally don't think it makes very much difference. Although I've never been a GT3 driver actually in a multiclass series, so maybe I shouldn't be talking because I don't know what I'm talking about.
You've not done it.
You know.
Oh, dude, it is one of the scariest things on a race circuit. I've done it because I really wanted to see what it was like, right? Because we talk about pressure up here for the GTDs, we talk about pressure for LMP2, so I was like, right, how can I know what I'm talking about if I've never driven what I'm talking about? So I jumped to the GTD, dude, they're mighty, right? It was back in the day with the old Porsche as well before we got the new set that we've got now, and literally, you know, going through traffic is scary. You've got to read absolutely every possible movement there as well. What's going on, just really quickly before I carry on with my story. Cass and Cunningham, is Cunningham going to make it through? Yes, he is. So then that's a different moment in the what was LMP there as well. But then you go into an LMP2 and you kind of overtaken and got your head on a swivel. That's the scary moment. But the GTDs is one of the scariest, because you know, the LMP2s might not get...
Oh, goodness, sorry.
He might know,
That was
I
close.
agree, I sucked up as well. Cunningham's got an opportunity now. Oh, that's
Yeah.
not going to help either. Let's get off Robert Cass a minute, because I've seen that break. He can block him in here. Cunningham can block him in.
He does.
Yep. That was a poor
He
run
does.
out from Cass. That was a very indecisive moment.
Although he's got a good run out of turn 3 now as well. So Cunningham's not going to be trapped quite. He's going to just get past the Porsche. Well, look at this from Cast. Oh no, he doesn't go for it. He brakes late. Oh goodness, very nearly contact there. Well, thankfully they get away with it.
I think there may have been
maybe
a little bit.
Not too much. It was okay in the end, and they get away with it all. So Cunningham leads again with just less than 35 minutes to go. That's another round of GT3 traffic done now, and they can get some clean air for quite some time now. There's loads of space in front of them.
Yeah, there is. It's all the way through to 9th in their class, to be blatantly honest. And currently, that is who's that? Julian, Christian Julian in 9th place, who's halfway up the road. So they've got nothing to worry about. Now they continue to fight it out. Caden Richardson, however, and Mo Islam. There is 2 cars there, and they were very close together. We've got the first run of pit stop cycles. I think Robert Tinsey has come into pit lane there on the left-hand side. You can see, but Mo Islam trying to clear Caden Richardson. Mo, if you're going to go, you got to go, you got to go, you got to go. Oh. They're leaving it very late in the LMP2s.
Yeah, I think he was alongside for long enough there for that to be okay. He's got away with it, and so has the Mustang on the outside line there. Alex Simonik it was. Flash of the lights again from Richardson, who's comfortably down the inside this time around. Robert Tinsey decides that now is the time to pit instead of going through on the GTD Pros, or just GTD as it's known. Then he's decided to come into pit lane instead, so we'll see how that plays out for him in the race. But we are very much in the window now where in any of the classes you can pit in and you can make it to the end from here. So the floor is open in pit lane, and Tinsey has decided to take the chance now, and he's just on his way out now in 8th place. So expect to see a lot more of those now in the next 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, I think we're going to start getting a rush of them going through. I'd be interested to see what Cass does now. Does he's got to do something different. That's the thing, right? Following Cunningham into the pits, following him out of the pits, and following him around the racetrack is not going to get him the lead. So he's either got to look at undercutting and see where he can come out, and whether or not he will come out well, to be fair, I would not go in now, because they are in a really bad spot to come out in traffic. They've got to literally try and find a spot to come out, and at the moment, well, you can see from the racetrack, given that Tinsey's was 54 seconds, that takes him right into the mix of what's going on down in the GTDs at the moment. There might be that gap between first in the AMs, second in the GTPs, and 6th in the LMP2s, but it's whether or not they can slot into that gap, because at the moment there's plenty of traffic around other than that.
There is a lot of traffic around for the moment. Still plenty of drivers on the circuit, of course. Only Billy Smith out of the race in GTP, and Jordan Rosenbaum and Paul Lindsay out in GTD AM, although we have had another retirement. Actually, Cosmin Quinn is out, so as I mentioned earlier, we'll have a look at all those replays at the end of the race. Well, I'll say all of them, the main ones anyway, otherwise we'll be here for another hour after the race. We'll look at a lot of them after the race and the main incidents, of course. There's been plenty of them so far. This is the main battle on the circuit though. That's first in LMP2, then third in LMP2 as well. Morrison versus Caden Richardson. They're all, it feels very different when they're all on their own here in these LMP2s especially. Nobody anywhere near them. GTP's a little bit further behind. There's Perchat in the background, but he's going to take a couple of laps to get to them. GTD's other way around the other side of the circuit as well. This is excellent for the battles. There's nobody in the way at all.
No, do you know the problem is though? This is horrendous for them. And I say that in the nicest possible way now, because of the amount of cars that are spread out round the circuit. There's no gaps to pit and come out in clean air. That's the problem. They almost need to go in the pit stop, let all the cars go past them, and then come out in clean air, because at the moment they haven't got clean air to come out in, and that's the thing. I think for this situation is you can give them a rough idea at the moment, but Caden Richardson, would come out down the order in 12th and 13th in overall, which is currently, was that 7th, I think it's 8th or 9th, down with Robert Tinsey. So there's not a lot of space. Do you know what I mean? There's not a lot of space for them to try and find a place to go in.
Let's see how long they leave it. I think that is a problem for the moment, yes, but I think if they leave it another couple of laps, then they could be finding themselves suddenly with a bit of a gap behind them. They can pit in and maybe come out in a bit of clean air, but there's not that long actually until Cunningham and Cast especially are back into the traffic again. The GTD AM just making their way around turn 3 at the moment. Anyway, they're back for 7th place. It is anyway in GTD AM. So soon the LMP2s will be in traffic again. Is it going to be that moment when they decide to come in? Because we are past halfway now and we're still waiting for the vast majority of the field to come in. I mean, 90% of the field have yet to be in pit lane yet.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and we've lost Rosenbaum, we've lost Smith, Lindsay didn't take the start, Quint's out as well, Perez is still running around, but it's in obviously what was a very broken car, so he's still going, but at the moment, nobody else really. We've had Robert Tinsey, the only one that's come into the pits, nobody else has been in yet, so that rush in that pit lane is going to be massive. It's who's done what during the first stint, who's saved fuel, who's got this situation under control at this moment in time.
Let's see, in the next half an hour or so with the fifth round, excuse me, of the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge for season 14, racing all the way to the start of April, of course, live on every other Monday night here on the JPB YouTube channel as always. We'll be back live again with the next round at Mid-Ohio.
Oh, that's going to be interesting.
Middle of December, yeah, that will be interesting. Bit of a tighter circuit than this one, I think it's fair to say. Proper American circuit, that one. And that will take us to the last American circuit of the first half of the season. On board we go with, this is Young Park just in behind. Robertson here for 5th place in GTD. Not many battles in this class anymore, but this is the closest of them. For 5th place right now. Just making their way around the final couple of corners.
Yeah, they are at the moment. This is one of the closest battles on track. Young Pert, Ryan Robinson there again. The pit stop strategy and the pit stop cycle is going to be the big moment. I think this is what we're kind of waiting for, because I think everybody now is kind of settled into their run. The same with Austin Dills, Morgan Smith, Miguel de Sosa. They're all settled in now, and I think we need this pit stop cycle to really jiggle things up again and find out where everybody's going to be and what the situation's going to be. Dale Green come in on lap 20 in his Porsche, but it's now what we got. Cunningham's in. Cass stayed out.
Yeah, so this is, I think, I like this call from Cunningham. I think this is the good idea here, although Cast probably has another lap until he's going to catch those 3 in GTD AM. There you can see him going up the hill ahead of him. Is he going to catch them at the end of the lap? That could really stall him here. And where's Cunningham going to come out, of course? Is he going to be in loads of clean air? We know that there has been a GTD AM pit stop for Dale Green, which is maybe going to put him ahead of Cunningham, and maybe that's going to get, he's going to get in his way slightly, but we'll see how the traffic falls for Cast here. He's catching them quite quickly. Will he be slowed in that final sector?
We're going to find out. I think Cunningham's on his way out. He found the gap. Yeah, he got the gap. He got it in front of.
Exactly. So there he is out on the circuit again now. So that's what I mean. They've just gone through that period of clean air. We were just talking about it. Now he's pitted in. He's back in the clean air again by leaving it those couple of laps from that conversation we were having earlier. He's got himself in clean air, and I like the call from Moisam as well, who's done exactly the same. Yeah,
he's out in the gap as well now. That is Cunningham there. Where is Robert Cass? He is in the mix a little bit. It's going again.
I don't know why he's doing this. He's eating himself alive, in my opinion, by staying out. He's been slow through those final couple of corners as well, where don't forget the LMP2s are really fast. Even Pat Pelchat, who's got no pressure on him at all, and it's a really big lead, he's even decided that now is the time to come in.
Yeah, Binkley's in, Richardson is in as well. This is the rush in the LMP2s and the GTDPs as well, but maybe Cass feels he's got the pace. Even I don't really know.
Nobody's got the pace if they're having to overtake other people versus other people who aren't overtaking other people. I mean, I don't care how quick you are. So I don't know, maybe he's going to prove me wrong in a couple of moments, but I can't see Robert Cast leading this race after his pit stop the way this is going. We'll see, of course, whether there's a big shake-up. I think maybe he will have been hoping for some GTD pit stops for them to get out of his way, and so he can run long on low fuel, and because that's the difference between these two at the moment. Kundiger does have a lot more fuel on board, he will be a lot heavier, but I don't think that's going to be overcome by the traffic that Cast is currently dealing with at the moment. We'll see whether that's proven correct or not, but Cast is looking like he's going to go round again here. He does have a clean bit of traffic now for the final couple of corners, but again, no GTDs have stopped in front of him. He's still having to overtake them on the circuit. He's running long on fuel here, but how much of a benefit is that giving him versus the clean air that Carter Kundiger is getting? Robert Cast last time around did a 1 minute 20.1. That's only 2 tenths slower than his best lap time, in fairness. Kundiger might not be able to go that quickly. We'll see whether these laps are good enough for Robert Cast.
Yeah, we're going to find out. I want to look at the group. How much gap's he got? It's got a bit of a gap between them. If they were tighter together, I would say he's going to have a problem, but you can see him in the background there. The Porsche's got a gap to the Mustang, the Mustang's got a gap to the Porsches of Park and Robinson, and he might not even... It's going to be that final part, I think, coming out of turn 7 and 8, that he might end up catching them, but he is in a position to make the traffic easily. I think that's the thing for Cass. He can go past them quite comfortably here. He's caught back up to the Porsche. He's going to take the inside line. Through he goes. So he's then got the Mustang, which may be out of the way before he really needs to clear him.
Now, does he decide to come in this time round? He gained 3 tenths on Kundiger last lap, by the way, so it did work out for him. But does he decide? And now he pits in. So Cast might well have just done this quite well indeed. We'll see whether he's made the right call. Has it been better to go those couple of laps longer, take a few more cars of traffic, but use the laps of low fuel to your advantage? He pits just before the GTD field because they're a lot closer together in terms of the proximity to one another. The GTD AMs are quite spread apart at the moment. GTD, certainly not the case now. Kundiger making his way through the final sector. His pit stop time was 25.5 seconds. That's the longest stop of anyone inside the top 8 so far, and anyone on the lead lap. Kundiger's had a longer stop, and it was 3 seconds faster for Robert Cast. It's not going to matter how quick he was out on the circuit. His pit stop time was way better, and Robert Cast is going to be leading this race in LMP2. There's no doubt about that.
No.
His strategy of running longer, getting the low fuel stints down and onto the circuit has worked out a treat. Look at that, he's got a big lead over at Carter Kundiger.
Yeah, nearly 4 seconds. 4 seconds Cass just got there, and that was great driving. Andrew Parker's in there. He's not pitted either at the moment, so Parker's got a pit. There's Cass going down the bottom of his shot. We've got action down with Young Park and Ryan Robinson. The GT3s are starting to come in. Ross Booth has just got in as we've got 22 minutes remaining.
Yeah, certainly on time to come in, as in he's not come in with anybody else, but anyway, so that won't bother him too much.
I don't.
Sorry, I'm giggling because I'm imagining someone, either Robert Cast or Carter Kundiger, watching this back and already knowing the result of that pit stop phase, and hearing me talking about the fact Cast is going to be certainly in second place and then being proven wrong dramatically only seconds later. So it's just making me giggle for the moment.
Is that the fact of your own, the fact that you just made a boo-boo?
A little bit. But,
okay, so you think you're laughing at your own downfall?
Slightly.
Oh, okay.
But there we go.
Okay,
out of the pit lane for Ross Booth. He's in amongst some of the GTD AMs. Not going to say anything about it because of the last pit stop cycle, but there you go. I'm just pointing the fact out. He's behind Chris Sherburn at the moment, and makes pretty light work of Sherburn for an overall position there, and goes through on the inside line. So that was pretty easily done in the end. But when is Ross going to come in, and how long is his pit stop going to be? Is he going to be anywhere near Ross Booth here? Can he challenge him here, maybe in GTD?
Yeah, he's got a long way to go. He's got Dime and Eisenring in front. Haley's there, Park's there, Robinson, Ross and Simonich are in the pit lane now. We're going to keep an eye because Booth's pit stop 17.7. he was stationary for. So we'll keep an eye out and see what goes on with Ross, Simonich, Davidson. Robinson looks like he's going through again. Haley looks like he's going through again. Dine and Eisenring, but it's going to be here. They're all on tyres.
Of course, you can do them at the same time these days, tyres and fuel, much to my dismay. Out through the final couple of corners comes Ross Booth then.
Oh.
Of course, there are still a couple out there on the circuit, but they're not going to matter. This is for the lead between Michael Ross and Ross Booth. There's a lot of traffic around as well here. Booth is going to be taking the long way round the opening corner, but he should be through here on Ross.
Yeah.
With the momentum on the outside line, he will be. It's a better run, of course, through turn one when you're on the circuit, and so Ross is there or thereabouts, but he's not quite in the lead.
No, the 6 back at the moment. Sherborne's just tucked in right behind him. Obviously different classes, so we'll see how this one peters out. But at the moment, yeah, Ross Booth did manage to hang on to it, but you can see Michael Ross not too far apart at all. So great job from all of them. In the AMS, Joshua Wolf has been in, and he's overtaken Shane Hunter, Parker Dye, Morgan Smith and Austin Dilks with Miguel de Sosa. But it's how close is he going to get to Eisenring, who has not pitted at the moment. Eisenring's coming out of turn 8, where currently Josh Wolf is going through turn 2.
Yes, I would imagine Eisenring's going to be fine to be in the lead at the end of all this, but you never know.
He was quite a long way up the circuit. I wouldn't expect him. Well, he's got in pit lane now. He's got to get the car stopped, and it's still got quite a long way. So
he should be in the lead. Based on the gap previous to the pit stop, I would expect affects him to be in the lead. Bit of an awkward entry there. Someone's parked right in the box before his, which always makes it difficult to spot where you need to be. But Eisenring does it fine. And into the pit lane also comes Sherburn. So everybody's been in now, as far as I can see. And so Pat Pochat still leads. That's just to tell you, of course, about the 4 leaders of our 4 classes. Pat Pochat 30 seconds ahead of Dominic Dernenberg at the very front of the field. He is having a very good race indeed, Pat Pochat. Now, Robert Cast is in the lead of LMP2 by running longer on that strategy, using the low fuel and a shorter pit stop time. He's got ahead of Carter Cunningham. Ross Booth is leading in GTD, and he's really taken advantage here of the warmer tyres, I suppose, pitting a little bit earlier, getting out in front very quickly indeed after the pit stop of Michael Ross, and then Ed Eisenring, who is still leading in GTDM as expected. Closest battle on the circuit is for third in GTP, and we've not had a GTP battle for ages. Pavoski is just ahead of Dowd after those pit stops, I believe. If they've both made stops, they certainly have. Dowd, though, got speeding in the pit lane, and so he's now down to 4th.
Yeah, unfortunately for Dowd, he's just going to have to try and come through the field, isn't he, and try and catch up for Borowski. Borowski's not too far up the road, literally there at the moment. This is a straight sprint for the final podium position in the GTP, so this could be a battle that we're going to keep an eye on as well. We've got Caden Richardson still with Mo Islam. They've been velcroed together for, well, the whole race, I think, to be blatantly honest with you. So we're going to obviously keep an eye on these guys as they continue to fight it out. It seems to be a little bit safe that he Booth with Ross 2.2 seconds and Eisenring, well, Eisenring's just got about 10 seconds, I think it is, in the GTDM, so great job from Ed Eisenring.
Yeah, it's a fantastic drive so far from him, as we ride on board with Caden Richardson at the moment, just in behind Mo Islam. So there'll be a couple of the battles to watch here in the closing moments. Third in GTP and third in LMP2 as well. Still 16.5 minutes to go here in this race, and it is very much being controlled by all 4 class leaders as things stand. I think I'd be surprised if there are any leading battles towards the end, but you never know. We could get a late surprise.
Yeah, unless anything dramatic happens, of course, you know, Pat Pelshat running into a GTD or Cass having problems. It's gonna, if it'll come traffic based. I think that's the thing here as well, because the multi-class series, it sometimes is very class on class incident. They're normally class on class, but involves another class, and I think we're going to see that a little bit later on as well. Obviously, you know, there's drivers spinning on their own, which we have seen, but I think one of the major one that we saw earlier on, I think, is always class on class involving another class. So if that is the situation, I think that will be the situation.
Down in towards turn 3 for these two. And it's not a place for position, by the way, just ahead of Morrison there. That's Christian Julian, who is 9th at the moment. Not sure why he's so far back, to be honest with you, but he is a lap down at the moment, and he's now pulling out the way. He will do the same for Richardson, who's making absolutely sure that he does by flashing his lights again, and indeed pulling back onto the racing line just in time. Track conditions getting a little bit darker. In sim right now, it is about 20 past 4 in the evening. As I mentioned earlier, if you are in Europe at the moment watching this, you'll know that it is getting dark at about that kind of time in the evening. Anyway, a week on from today's date, I've just googled the sunset at this venue, 5 past 4. So obviously the sunset will have been a bit later a week ago, but nevertheless, it's probably getting quite dark now in sim. With these conditions, but I've got to say, not as dark as I was expecting.
No, but I think it so varies, doesn't it? That's the thing. It's 10 to 4 currently.
It's 10 to 4. Oh,
yeah. Okay. Well, I've got 15:51, which 24-hour clock is 10 to 4 in the afternoon, isn't it? So,
yeah. So I was looking at the rule book. The race start's supposed to be at 3:30. But clearly it wasn't, because that was only 22 minutes ago as far as the sim is concerned. So I reckon we started at 3 o'clock, not 3:30, which means that we're going to get a lot less dark, if any. Here goes Nathan Dow, meanwhile, down the inside. Oh, careful! And that's going to be a good run for Bobrovsky because of the stopping power there. Meanwhile, side by side between Robertson and Parker in the background, there's going to be side by side for third here as well, I think, as Bobrovsky tries to come back again. Is he going to be aggressive and try and make a move? No. Park certainly is, though. He's going to get to the outside, or the inside, I should say, of Ryan Robertson, and Park gets into the top 5 there. The GT3 battling being slightly changed by the prototypes there.
Yeah, definitely. That move from Dowd had a big moment over what went on here. This is a 5th and 6th battle in the GTD Pros, of course, but yeah, Nathan Dowd had a big hand in causing that issue, should we say.
Rights, of course, to make the pass down the inside. It's one of those awkward moments, especially at turn 1, where you're very much threading the needle between two very annoying sausage curbs on the inside and the outside. And you just get rid of those and grow some grass. But anyway, that's besides the point. Could do with it around here as well. Down the inside again. They do get brave into the final corner in these prototypes, but survives again. That was on Ross Boo, wasn't it? I think. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was. You can see Booth there currently at the moment is about, what's he got, 2.5 seconds up the road over Michael Ross. So Booth really benefited out of that pit stop cycle, but Nathan Dowd is benefiting over Bobrovsky, but also being a bit of a nuisance to the cars in and around him, if I'm honest. So, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, bit of a nuisance, but what can you do? They're all driving their own race here, trying to get on with it. 12 minutes to go, just 20% of the race remaining here in the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge, the RdBull Ring round number 5 of our championship. And Pat Pochat is leading the way by some distance, more than half a minute ahead of Dominic Durnenberg, who's currently second. And then it's this battle for third place between Nathan Dowd and in fourth place, just behind him, is Trevor Bobrovsky.
He's losing time.
Behind.
Sorry to cut in, he's losing time. Quite rapidly, actually, Bobrovsky. He's just gone out to 1.1. It was 6/10, I think, by the time we started this lap. So Nathan Dowd there, opening it up and pulling away at the moment. I can tell you one man who's not getting away is Chris Sherborne over Parker Dime here, and Shane Hunter. So it looks like these three been back together again. It's going to be interesting to see what goes on with the two Fords and the McLaren, of course, on the racetrack. Battle for second, in third, sorry, for GTD Am.
Yeah. The reason I didn't pick up on that Nathan Dowd pulling away, by the way, is because I was expecting him to. After all, he has had a not a drive-through penalty, sorry, but a 40-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, I'd imagine, or an unsafe pit entry. So one of the two. So he's pulling away, and that's to be expected, really. This will be one interesting battle to watch, though, for the remainder of the race. One of the only ones for podium position now remaining in the entire field. Hunter trying to hold back Sherburn and Parker Time, who, as far as the championship is concerned, really could do with these couple of positions, especially with Ed Eisenring and Joshua Wolf gaining points up ahead of him. He will be pleased, as pleased as he can be, about someone else's downfall. About Miguel de Souza's recent retirement, though, that happened about 4 laps ago.
Yeah, I think for Parker, he's just got to remember why he's there. You've got to remember that although it's great trying to go and dive people and get past people, points are points, right? He's still in 5th. He looks like he's got some pace in that Mustang. We've still got probably 10 minutes to go now. So there's still opportunities for him, but he really doesn't want to be silly with them opportunities, because as we've seen in racing, Islam slots it out the inside there. As we've seen in racing before, you might only get one shot. Right, you might only get one opportunity. So for him, he's got to make the most of that opportunity. He's letting the traffic go when he needs to. He knows everybody else has got to do it in front of him, which has just happened now. So for Dime, he's got to just, when the opportunity arises, he's got to take it, but don't force it if he really doesn't have to.
I wonder what he's going to do here, because I think the temptation will certainly be to try and make a move with 2 of your championship rivals up ahead of you here, but we'll see if he just rides around for a top 5 or leaves it. He has got his damage repaired, by the way. I'm sure some of you will have noticed that the front left is no longer caved in. There you go. I don't know whether he refused a fast repair or whether that the optionals will have just cleared themselves during the pit stop, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. Side by side between a couple of LMP2s, meanwhile, just up ahead of them, that is not for position. Andrew Parker is being put a lap down now by Kevin Binkley, that is, so those two will get out of the way of these, and they'll race away likely. Not many battles remaining in the LMP2s, in fact there aren't any at all, and that may not change in the last 8.5 minutes. On board we go with Parker Dime again. He watches the 2 up ahead, might be hoping that Sherburn and Hunter battle between themselves, and maybe he can take advantage of that.
We'll have to see here what he's gonna do. It's a very difficult one for Dime now, because he, as you say, he wants to make that place, right? He wants to get past these cars, and he's a racing driver. They all do, you know what I mean? And he can really do with getting both of them. But has he got the pace to get both of them? That's a question. Has he got the pace to be able to get past Sherborners? Can he get past Hunter to be able to get onto the back of Wolf and Eisenring? Because they are ahead of him in the championship, and he's sitting in 3rd at the moment. Obviously he's got sitting in 2nd, sorry, and obviously he's got Miguel de Souza and Morgan Smith and Austin Dilts and everybody else behind him. So he does really need to clear them, but has he got the pace to clear them?
Let's see. Certainly not time on anyone's side at the moment. We're just at 7.5 minutes to go as Sherburn and Hunter pick different sides of the road to let some prototypes through. Sherburn very much on the outside line on the way up the hill towards turn 3 now. Slight shape of defensive shape from Hunter. Time will gain if the 2 of them do start to do a little bit of that. Now then, is there a good enough run from Sherburn here? It doesn't really look like it. And they will stay again single file in towards turn number 4. This is proving tricky for the McLaren at the moment to get through.
And he's still got traffic coming at him as well. So again, he really doesn't want to lose as much time to Hunter in front as he wants to keep the time loss, should we say, down to the minimum. So at the moment, Sherborne's got his head on a swivel. He's trying to look forward to get into Hunter, but he's also trying to make sure he's aware that Dime is there, and Dime's still putting him under pressure through 7 and 8. But you can see now that one overtake by that one car that's gone through, that's overtaking them from the LMP2s, has now given Dime a 1.2 second gap that he's got to try and make up. So very tough for Parfitt now with what we got 6 minutes to go, probably another 4 laps.
Depends, of course, where the leader is. There's Pep Pelchat through the final couple of corners now. It might be 5 actually. Might be 5 laps. It's a very short circuit, don't forget. Chris Serban getting a good run here out of turn number 1. Parfitt nowhere near close enough to take an advantage, so it is just going to be between these two now. Has Serban finally got an opportunity? No, not really, and Hunter fades back to the racing line again as well. So not really able to make any use of that good run there for Chris Serban. And, well, he is too far behind here down the next straight as well. So he's thrown a good opportunity away there a little bit.
Yeah, but I think that's just the pace of the Mustang. I think that's the thing. We were talking about it earlier on, how some tracks suit the car and some tracks don't, and this is one of the tracks that does, because it's got them straights that he can use the power of that Mustang. The McLaren at the moment, you know, is the all-rounder as such. He's got a bit of everything, but it didn't look like he had the pace even under draft going down there.
No, you didn't really. I thought there was a chance towards turn 3, to be honest, but
he had to be big and brave, and I think sometimes the big and brave doesn't always work when he's looking over points, is it?
It probably would have taken some bravery down the inside, but I just don't think there's going to be a better opportunity than that to get a podium. So I would have gone for it personally, but there you go. It's easy for me to say, sat here. So there you go.
Is this your driving skills coming out, Mr. O'Leary? Is it? Is this your driving ability coming through now?
Well, yeah.
Oh, we'll put you in a GT3 and see how you get on.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I wouldn't be much good in a GT3, I don't think. Did I ever tell you I won a championship in an LMP1 before, in an endurance league?
Did you?
I think I've mentioned it.
Did you actually?
I did really.
You told me that?
No? Okay, well, there you go. That won't be the last time you hear about it.
But well done you. How long ago was that?
It was about 6 years ago.
Oh, okay. Is that before you got in the booth?
It wasn't recent. Or on iRacing indeed either, but you know, it all counts.
Hey, a win's a win, mate. Don't knock it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Serban not able again, very similar story to last lap this time round, and Hunter hangs on again. Oh, no, look. But no, I think he does really want to go through here, Serban. I think he really does want this podium, but at the moment, he's been a bit cautious with his opportunities. See if he gets a bit braver now that there's only 3.5 minutes left, and indeed 3 laps left as well as Pat Pelchat makes his way over the line.
Yeah, and time's closing. 1.2 to 6 tenths. So, hold on. Oh, he was closing and now it's gone back out again. Or have I just misread that completely at this moment in time? Possible that I've misread that. So that's gone out to 1.7. So Dime not really making an inroad. However, Simonik and Ross, they are, well, that close, basically.
Yes, nose to tail, and Pat Pelchat's just... sorry, that's not Pat Pelchat, is it? He's a bit far behind them. Maybe these guys are going to have a few laps to go even at the end of this one. This could be time on Alex Simonik's side, maybe, in these final moments, as one of the Cadillacs there, that's Nathan Dowd, taking these cautiously because he's got a bit of a gap behind him. No need to ruin their race by diving down the inside, so he just waits his turn and then makes his way through. Simonik will close in on Ross, who's very much looking in his mirrors now, trying to hang on to this second place with, I believe 3 laps to go very possibly for these two.
Yeah, Pelchat's on a run out of 7 and 8. He's going to get 2, but they're obviously not lapped, so he's got 1 and 2 more as such to go. So they can still continue to fight here, which worked out great for Simonik, but probably Ross could probably not do without that at the moment, because he is under a whole heap of pressure from Alex Simonik, who is doing a great job at this moment in time.
There be a move here with 2 minutes to go in towards turn number 3.
Oh,
there
yes.
is!
No!
No, there isn't! Wow! It looks like he dramatically pulled to the inside there to go for it, but he clearly wasn't late enough on the brakes to do it. Well, that was a big showing of the cards there from Simonik, and I'm not sure he's going to be able to try that again. I think Ross will be defending turn 3 on the inside next time, right?
Yeah, as well. Davis is not far off the back here. Davis is literally just there in that Porsche. So they're going to have it could be turning into a three-car fight for the final podium spot, or the second and third, I should say, as well, with Davis in the mix at the same time. So this could be a nice little three-car fight going in here. Pelchat is going to come round and start the final lap very, very shortly. He's going in through 7 and 8 at the moment.
Yeah, will he pass these guys though? Looks like he might well do now. Simonik, it knows there's only 2 laps to go. He's going to go for it down the inside. Here in towards the penultimate corner. Round the outside for Ross. Is he going to be given the room? Just about. Simonik's got to be careful doing that, otherwise he'll get spun round. And he does take the apex of the final corner, although he's not got a very good run. And look at this, it'll be 3 wide with some of the prototypes coming through here. A couple of the LMP2s being slowed down there. That's the battle for third, I think, which is now going to be a lot closer. In towards turn 1. Ross on the inside, got to be careful. Oh, they squeeze each other into the wall. I said you've got to be careful, and that's exactly why. You've got to give the space, otherwise you'll end up in the wall. And Simonik and Ross end up with damage on the last lap.
Oh my God.
They're both going to miss out on a podium here, by the way. Davis is going to be second, Young Park's going to be on third.
Why?
Oh, well,
Ross
Robertson's just hit the wall in the background. Robertson just hit the wall out of turn number 3. And, well, he's back going again now, but there you go. That was a big, dramatic moment on the very last lap.
Why? Why would they do that? Where did we see that? We've seen it Sunday. Was it Sunday there was one of them we saw out the lead?
I'm not sure, but
yeah,
but
GRL final corner.
Meanwhile, by the way, Pat Pelchat coming through the final corner to win this race. It's another victory for Pelchat here at the Red Bull Ring this time round. Weaves over the line. This is going to be one of his biggest victories in terms of margin. Nearly 40 seconds over Dominic Turnenberg in the end. In the GTD AMS, meanwhile, that will be, in fact, we've already seen Ross Booth over the line in GTD. He has won a dramatic finish in that class. Ed Eisenring not far behind him. A great drive from him in GTD AM to take another victory there. And Robert Cast is going to be back to winning ways again at the Red Bull Ring here in LMP2 as well, winning by 9 seconds in the end ahead of Carter Cunningham.
Yeah, Cunningham there. Pit stop. Pit stop, pit stop, pit stop. That's all we can say for Carter Cunningham. Islam stayed ahead of Richardson, again benefiting from the pit stops as well. But yeah, that was madness. Madness.
It was, yeah. Right towards the end, as I mentioned, we will have the replays coming up in a few moments' time, because there's plenty to go and look at after the race, that is for sure. At the end of that one, not least that last lap battle there between Ross and
I don't get why.
as well.
I still can't understand why that would be the case. Why would they go that close? As Robert Tinsey comes over the line here as well. Yeah, final lap, going that close, not leaving each other room. Bit crazy.
Each other a bit more room, but we'll get to that. Pat Pelchat wins here at the Red Bull Ring ahead of Dominic Turnenberg, Nathan Dowd and Trevor Pavorsky, the GTPs, who finished without problems. All 9 LMP2s got to the end towards the front, which was good. It was Robert Cast winning ahead of Carter Cunningham. Mo Islam held off Caden Richardson for third in the end. Kevin Binkley finished fifth ahead of Robert Tinsey. Fozzie Fazillo, Andrew Parker and Christian Julian running out the LMP2 field. Ross Booth wins in GTD with Nicholas Davis and Young Park rounding out the podium. It was Bradley Haley who just missed out with Ryan Robertson inside the top 5 because, of course, those guys got past those guys getting involved in incidents towards the end. Ed Eisenring won in GTD AM ahead of Joshua Wolf. Adolfo Perez was way down, of course, after his crash in GTP. Shane Hunter finished on the podium in AM ahead of Chris Sherburn. He held on in the end. Quite a time, finished in the top 5, and Michael Ross, who retired on that last lap. Dale Green, Austin Diltz, Morgan Smith were next ahead of Alex Simonik, who had to return to the pit lane. Mika D'Souza, Carson Quint, Billy Smith, Paul Lindsay and Chad Rosenbaum didn't get to the end. Paul Darling didn't begin the race. So, time for some replays then. Few to look at after that one. Opening lap instant D, first of all.
That was the Sheldon Rosenblum one.
Yeah, so Dime did hit Rosenbaum, and then Rosenbaum went off across the the front of Wolf, there was rear right suspension damage there, and so Rosenbaum, I think, retired.
Yeah, he did straight away. I don't think there was much going on after that. Now, we saw some of this, but this is a Vavorowski incident as well on lap 2. That was the curb there, and he ended up going round out the wall. Now, one of the questions you asked halfway through was, why is Christian Julian so far down? This may have something to do with it.
We'll see whether this is just a spin, as I suspected. So he joined Vavorowski basically, but just spun to the outside rather than the inside. That's part of the reason why, I suppose, for Julian. And we saw Miguel de Sousa retire eventually. This didn't force a retirement, but it did contribute. He does exactly the same thing to Vavorowski, but he does find the wall pretty hard.
Yeah, he did. He hit that back end as well, onto the wall. Now, this is the Perez, Smith and Lindsay incident. This is where the three of them, well, was carnage, I think, on everybody here. I think. He starts it. Oh,
goodness me. He loses it under braking then.
So that,
and
Jesus, he snaps like crazy.
Yeah. What we used to see when the GTPs were really new.
Bang!
See that too often very more. Wow, that's a big crash.
Yeah,
makes you wonder why that sort of stuff doesn't happen more at this circuit, actually. But there you go. Paul Lindsay retired from this as a result as well.
Yeah, this was Billy Smith trying to get it back after his incident. Perez went in, Lindsay went in, and Perez went in after that. Now, there was a little bit of a break after that until lap 12, where Carsten Quint had his moment. This put him straight back into pit lane here for Carsten Quint. Fairly innocuous spin, though. Is there going to be... No, I think he didn't. Austin Dilt's taking a trip off the circuit. Don't think it's anything too dramatic here for Austin Diltz. I think he just runs a little bit wide on the grass and just scoots round the edge. So there we go for that one. And then we jump all the way down. Where was we after that? All the pit lane cycles were out of the way. To the Michael Ross incident.
Yes, so this is on the very last lap. Michael Ross versus Alex Simonik. I just don't think Ross gave enough room there. To be fair, Simonik did exactly the same thing at the penultimate corner and the final corner and got away with it. Ross does exactly the same thing in turn 1, certainly doesn't get away with it, neither does Simonik. For me, the car on the inside has got to give a car width, and he just didn't there.
Right, hold on. Does he have to give a car's width to a car that's off the circuit?
Well, he's pushed him there, so yes.
Ooh, okay.
I mean, Simonik was alongside when he was on the circuit, then he was pushed off it because of Michael Ross, in my opinion. So, there you go.
Okay.
That's my view on it, anyway. And then this was as Ryan Robertson was trying to take third, or take fourth at least. He got on the curve himself, and then he lost a position on the last lap. So, he could have had fourth, but eventually finishes fifth for Ryan Robertson.
Yeah, I think this is Simonik. He's broke, isn't he? This is him trying to get it back, I think.
Yeah, this is him trying to get back to I mean, this is almost... Well, if he wasn't furious, it'd be funny, but there we go. Eventually retires. I mean, his front right, it's barely attached, to be honest, to the car anymore. It's just sort of rolling around, not doing much. Eventually he has to retire. I mean, it's a shame for them. It's a shame for both of them, especially, I think, for Simonik, because he was on the outside. But as I say, I've got slightly less sympathy because he did exactly the same thing the previous two corners. So neither of them, in my opinion, gave each other racing room when they should have done there on the last couple. I get it's towards the end of the race and they're both pushing and whatever, but they've got to give each other more room, or you run a huge risk of getting spun round into the wall exactly like we just saw. Yeah,
that's the thing. Yes, I don't believe Ross could have moved over. Simonik wasn't on the circuit, so it does open it up to that whole he's off the line kind of thing. He was pushed there, yes. It's going to be a discussion for the ages, I think, on that one.
Yes, I don't believe the stewards post is out yet, so we'll update you on that one for the next round at Mid-Ohio, of course. Just a brief update on who's leading the championship after this round, then before we leave you. Pat Poshat, unsurprisingly, extends his lead in GTP. Robert Cass's lead is up to 19 now in LMP2. Ross Booves is up to 23 in GTD as he takes a 5th win of the season. And in GTD AM, Joshua Wolf now leads by 15 points over Parkerdime and Ed Eisenring. After 5 races, In the teams championship, Composite Performance Carbon lead by 5.5. So they are ahead of Sector 5 Racing. That is the 5 championship standings. A good round of the championship. We'll be back next week for Mid-Ohio, which sounds like you're already much looking forward to.
I think Mid-Ohio is going to be amazing. I think it could be chaotic, but it's also going to be amazing. So I'm really interested to see how these guys get on at Mid-Ohio and how it handles this multi-class racing in general. But yeah, very interesting one. RdBull Ring did what it was there to do. It delivered. It caused some drama. It did it all.
It was a good race, certainly. Make sure you join us again. We'll be back live again next week for the round at Mid-Ohio. So very much hope you can join us then from 8:30, is it? Eastern time, I think, or is it 9:30? Around 9 p.m. Anyway, Eastern time. So make sure you join us then. But from myself, Ian O'Leary and James Parfitt, we'll see you in 1 week's time at Mid-Ohio. It's goodbye for now.